Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Stamps. Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different for you all. I am visiting my parents' house, and I wanted to share with you all my father's stamp collection, who's here, and he'll just go over with us some of the stamps that he has in his collection.
I started collecting stamps when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And as you can see here, this is an old stamp book, and I have a lot of stamps from Argentina. And what was fun when I was a kid is, do you see, you could get 100 Argentine stamps for $1. I used to buy these at Woolworths, which definitely dates me. This would have been, in the late 1950s or early 1960s. Everything, of course, was very affordable. You could really build up your stamp collection with worldwide stamps, get 100 stamps for $1, some maybe 50 for $1. And so, and I still have this, which kind of is a relic, from the old days. And, a lot of the stamps actually, if you look back, were very old that would come in these packets. And that's how I built my collection. And here's some more stamps from Argentina.
Those are really nice.
Yeah, and some of them I think are old. I mean, they're probably at least 50 years old. They might be 60, at a minimum, 50 or 60 years old. And that's how a lot of kids back in the day collected stamps, and it was really easy to do and really inexpensive. Um,
See some more
and
Argentina. You have a
oh
lot
yeah,
of Argentina
well,
stamps.
because I
Yeah.
think I would buy these packets, and they were very very affordable. Some of these are overprint here.
Uh huh.
A lot of commemoratives too would come in here, so very nice. And I know that some of these are actually very old. Some of these.
Cool. And what else do we have?
Well, let me take a look and see what else is here. I know I have quite a few. Um, let's see if it's under, I don't know if it's under United Kingdom or if it's under Great Britain. Let me take a look, because those were some of the ones I like to.
I saw some old Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here
Great
again,
Britain.
a lot of Great
Oh,
Britain.
nice.
A lot of these, again, very old.
Oh, those are really beautiful.
And I'm sure I got most of these from packets. And back in those days, too, you could send off for approvals and they would come in the mail. They were like 1 cent, 2 cent each. And of course, back then, I mean, if you got like a $1 a week allowance, that was like a big deal. And you could get a lot of stamps that way. And people would do it through the mail. They were stamp dealers. I
Uh
don't
huh.
know if that's true now. Um, I guess when stamps were 3 and 4 cents, it was a lot more economical to do that. Now I think it would be
That's right.
a lot more expensive to sell stamps through the mail like that. And I guess it was also the honor system, which was fine. But I think I got a lot of these old stamps that way as well. And the thing that was neat is when I was growing up, a lot of kids in my neighborhood also collected stamps, and we would trade stamps like if we had duplicates. And so it was like a lot of fun. And I learned a lot about geography and history, especially with the commemoratives.
That's really interesting. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a really nice old collection
It's old. It's
all over
probably
the
not,
world.
it's probably, I don't think it's worth anything, and that was never the point, but it was an awful lot of fun to collect. And here's some old stamps you can see from the old colonies like Kenya, Uganda, Tanganyika. You know, these have to be at least 50 or 60 years old, because it'll say all three names on one
Uh huh.
stamp. It was one big British colony. Now there are three, of course, there are three separate countries.
That's right.
And so that has to be at least from the 50s or very early 60s. And this just says Kenya and Uganda. I've just got one of those. Um, it's interesting. And they were just really neat. And I learned so much, as I said, about geography, currencies of the world, the languages, from my stamp collection.
And that's one of the things I love about stamp collecting is how much you can learn about geography,
Hmm.
history, culture, what the countries choose to decide to reveal and depict on their postage stamps. It says a lot about the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japan.
Well, I don't have very many Japan, but I think the ones I have here seem to be very, very old. I may be wrong, but it looks like it. And of course, these markings are really incredible. I'd love to know what they mean or what cities they're from. I don't have very many. Um, I guess I had some I never put in the book. Some of these are newer, but they're not really new. And of course, a lot of these countries, don't exist anymore.
That's right.
Yugoslavia.
Uh-huh.
Those were simple. You would get these, in like free packets. They're still worth nothing. They probably printed, millions of these back in the day. But you can see, for example, like this postmark is Zagreb.
That's
So
right.
you can see that. So that was kind of always interesting to try
Yeah.
to even see on you. Of course, all my stamps I think are used. Probably never could afford as a kid really, mint stamps. But to see the postmarks, to see the cities was kind of cool as well. A lot of old Liberia stamps I see and some triangles.
These are nice.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, airmail stamps from Liberia. Um, I think these were very common back in the day. They were just fun to collect.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. Here's some Monaco, different kinds of shapes. This is obviously from 1956, I guess when Princess Grace got married.
Oh, not very nice.
Yeah.
See if I can.
Franklin Roosevelt looks like maybe a pope. Yeah, a pope there.
Oh, cool.
I guess there were some more pictures of Princess Grace, and very interesting for Monaco. I don't think you can have a 1 franc stamp anymore.
I see that.
Postage was cheap. Most of my U.S. stamps that I would collect, and especially if they were used, stamps were like 3 cents. Maybe they got up to 4 cents when I was a kid. So obviously, used stamps cost an eye. You can see
A lot of
what a mess
American.
is. It's a mess. Some of them are old. They're all heavily stamped. So that obviously not worth very much on these. But these were my original ones as a kid. Some of these are pretty old. I think these may go back to the 1880s or 1890s. But it was just an awful lot of fun.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me see here, the last president. That might tell you something here, how old this thing is. Who was the last president? I have Eisenhower.
It looks like it.
I think I'm
Yeah.
telling you how old I am. Um, if that was the last president
Yeah.
on my list up here. Yes, I was like, 8 or 9 years old when I did a lot of this. So there it is. And my sister had a stamp collection, and a lot of the kids where I grew up on my block also collected stamps as well. These are all these commemoratives.
These are
They're
nice.
sort of
Yeah.
3 cents, and they're all used. So, they cost nothing then. They're worth nothing now, 60 years later. But that's fine.
But like you say, it's not so much for the
It's not.
value; it's for the fun of it.
If not, and you know what? With all these commemoratives, you can learn an awful lot about U.S. history, the presidents, and it was like a lot of fun. It really was. Still
Well,
is.
that's really great. Hey, Dad, thanks so much for sharing your stamp
Anytime.
collection.
All right.